We're now going back and concluding, I hope, the speech of the Lubavitcher Rebbe that he made in 1991. And it's talking about the creation of the world, the purpose of the Jewish people. And in that year, when the Rebbe spoke, Rosh Hashanah came on Yom Sheni and Yom Shlishi, the second and the third day of the week, which in simple English is Monday and Tuesday. So it's number 2 and number 3. And the Rebbe expressed the importance of number 2 and number 3, especially in the creation of the world. That number 2, the second day, God created division, so that there was a world. And number 1, the first day of creation, there was just godliness, just pure God. And number 2, he created that the world would be separate, seemingly separate from him. And number 3, God created unity, that he unified the world and God. So you could see God in the world, at least the potential. Okay. So this year is Beit Shinzan. Let's just skip this first sentence over here, because this is talking about that particular year of 1991, Tafshin Nun Aleph. Okay. So we said that there's 2 things. There's the world. On Rosh Hashanah, the world was finished and man was started. So on Rosh Hashanah, there's 2 things that happen. The completion of the world. So the world was, so to speak, born, but like a little baby comes out. So the world comes out complete. That's what happened on Rosh Hashanah. It was the completion of the world. And how was the world completed? Another thing, man. So the world was completed. It says that the world was good. It says the world was very good, and the world still is very good. But it's very easy to cover over this good, as Adam succeeded in doing. And that's the opposite of what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to improve the world. As good as the world is, it was the handwork of God. And even it says that the world was very good even after Adam sinned. It says the world was very good. The world still remained good, very good. And man was put into the world in order to make it even better. So that's 2 aspects. The world is good, and man, which is to make the world even better. So that's 2 aspects. So that's basically Beit and Gimel. The Rebbe attaches this to one of the first sentences in the book of Daniel, that the king gave them pat bag. He gave them the best bread. And bag is Beit Gimel. That's the second day and the third day. So it says the second day of creation was when the world was, so to speak, separated. And the third day of creation was God said he made everything come together. Made everything come together. The dry land appeared. And Malat Hashlemus, the idea of the which is accomplished by man, that what man, the creation of man, added on to the creation. That which man adds on to the creation itself is stressed when Rosh Hashanah falls on Monday. Like I said, this year it doesn't. It falls on Sunday. It falls on Shabbos, I'm sorry, on Shabbos and Sunday this year. Yom Kippur is always, if Rosh Hashanah is always 2 days. This year it's Yom Shabbos and Yom Rishon. But when the Rebbe was saying this, it was on 2 different days. It was on Monday and Tuesday. Okay. The advantage when it falls on Yom Sheni, and again, everything that the Rebbe says, even though it's not relevant to this year, but because it was relevant back then, so it's a good thing. Good things are eternal. So this good aspect is eternal. It's there right now also. It's also, okay. So the fact that Rosh Hashanah even can come on the second day of the week, this stresses when, okay, Beit Shin, this is talking about the days of the week. Okay. That Cheshvan and Kislev, the 2 months which follow immediately after Tishrei, the Rosh Hashanah, they're both complete. That's the shin. Both of them shalom. They're all complete. And also Rosh Chodesh Nisan Chag Pesach. That's will always be on Shabbat. That's Zion. It's a code that's made which day that falls on. This is yeah, the completion of Shabbasos Timos, and that this is when the Shabbat will be will fulfill what it says in the counting of the Omer, that there's 7 complete weeks. That it comes out on Shabbat. That's the way it was when the Jews got out of Egypt. I just want to, instead of always trying to extrapolate and go back to what it says over there, let's just go, one second. Here we go. Okay. All this is especially this coming year, Tavshin Nun Beit. And our coming year is going to be Tavshin Pei Daled. Pei Daled. But it means these are the first letters, the initials, that you can make up whatever initials you want to. But the Rebbe said that year it will be a year of niflaot, wonders in everything. And Tafshin Nun Beit. And this year we can say the same thing. Pilaot instead of niflaot, pei, pilaot, wonders. And Dalid, we can make it up. Dgulim, great miracles. Nevertheless, we can make up, it says, Holich umitkabel al bnei adam, that we people, we can make up initials that are set by the Jewish people for the years, that these 4 letters, Tav, Shin, Nun, Dalid, it's Hey is 5,000. So we don't usually say that because we know we're in the 5,000. So Etav Shin Nun. This is the letters of Haya Tihya, it will be Shanat Niflaot, the year of miracles. And like I say, this year we can just take the nun away and it'll be, hey, Shanat Niflaot, miracles. The Ota Chamishi, the 5th letter, which is Beit, this is the first letter of Ba, in it. The miracles are not just a special thing for this year. Elahim and Yanim Shel Hashana, the whole entire, not just a detail of the year, for instance, Rosh Hashanah or special days, the whole entire year. Also, we can say Beit is Bakal in everything. The miracles will be in everything. Bakal, Mikal, Kal. That's the first letters of Bina, understanding. Sheniflot, that the wonders come from Bina is understanding. That's called sometimes the wideness of the river. Okay, just to add something on over here. Tavshin Nun Beit, the Rebbe says the year of miracles and everything. That was the year that the Rebbe had a stroke, and it rendered him incapacitated. He was, he couldn't speak. His whole right side of his body was paralyzed. So what type of miracles are there? The Rebbe said it's miracles in everything. So first of all of the Hasidim understood that that this is some sort of a test or some sort of a thing. And that's when all the Hasidim started saying that the Rebbe is the Mashiach. And they all started singing, Yechi Adonenu, Morenu V'Rabbeinu, Melech HaMashiach. They would bring the Rebbe out. It took several months until the Rebbe was sufficiently healthy that they could bring him out on sort of this sort of balcony in 7-7. And everyone, when they opened up the curtains, there's a lot of videos of it. This went on for almost a year and a half. That all of the Hasidim were saying that the Rebbe is the Mashiach, despite the fact that it seemed to be a very disappointing thing. The Rebbe said it's going to be big miracles. They figured everything would just go up and up, and all of a sudden it came down. No, none of the Hasidim thought that for a moment. that it was going to. So in one way, that's a very big miracle. Niflot bakal, miracles in everything, even in these bad things. I'm just speaking for myself now. So even in the apparently bad things, the worst things, and the Rebbe, and especially the Rebbe couldn't speak. The whole essence of the Rebbe was his ability to speak, to say what's inside of him. Right? To be silent is everybody's almost the same. The whole thing of the Rebbe, and the Rebbe also couldn't write. The right side of his body was paralyzed. It's like the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. Right? Also the same thing. Even though the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe was able to, anyway, he could speak to a certain degree. They say only the Rebbe could understand. So this began this is how I think. This began the whole idea that the Hasidim interpreted the world in a good way, the way the Rebbe interpreted it. And they had no doubts that the Rebbe is the Moshiach, no doubt whatsoever. And okay, after Nun Daled, when the Rebbe apparently he passed away, and says like the same thing with Jacob. The Gemara asks, how can you say that Jacob is alive? They buried him, and it says that he only appeared to die, didn't really die. Anyway, whatever happened, the essence of what happened in this year, Tafshin Nun Beit, is that we don't pay attention to anything negative. Only to what it says in the law books. In Maimonides, that he's the last word about Mashiach. It says that what disqualifies Mashiach is if he's killed. And it seems that he's referring to Bar Koziva, that he was killed because of his sins. That's what it says just a couple laws before that. He was killed because of his sins, that he did something wrong. But in any case, that's what disqualifies. Or if we just see that the whole program, all of the directions of this person that we thought is a Mashiach just don't work. They don't work. Well, I mean, the directions of the Rebbe definitely do work, and we see that Chabad is bigger and more people are becoming aware of God. And the fact of death does not disqualify Mashiach. I mean, it doesn't disqualify any Jew. All the Jews are going to come back raising the dead. So, I mean, if you ask me, that's what happened on Tavshin. It's miracles in everything, even in the things that seem to be bad. We see miracles. And that's what it says. Okay, the Inyan, that's what it says. And also, Beit is Bakal, it's also Bina, it also means understanding. Understanding, and to think deeply that what we see there's meaning behind it, but don't take things at face value. I mean, if you take things at face value, also God doesn't exist and there's nothing. Inyan Bezeh, the meaning is like this. Niflot, the whole idea of miracles, and now we can say in our year is Plaot, same thing, miracles. This refers on the future redemption by means of the Mashiach. Kalashan Akatuv, like it says, like the days of going out of Egypt, I will show you miracles. Shebo Yiru, that everyone will see actually and revealed the completion completely, Ashlemus Vanifla'ah, the amazing, miraculous wonder by means of Masenu V'Avodosenu, the result of all of our good deeds that we did in this 6,000 years of the world. And in addition, al shlemus, what we did, how that added on to the completion, how the world was complete when God created it. So we're saying, God created the world. That's Rosh Hashanah. He finished creating the world. The world was perfect. It was complete. It was complete like you buy a puzzle from a store. It has 5,000 pieces. All the pieces are there. It's complete. It's whole. Everything is there. Now that we put it together, that means even a greater completeness. Completeness, yeah. And that's what we've been doing since Adam, working on the world completely, especially since Abraham. Shenosaf al Shlemus, that in addition to the completion of the world, and that the world, when it was created complete. Eila Toldot, like it says, these are the generations, as written in Malay, of the heavens and the earth. Nevertheless, there'll be a higher level of completion of highness, that Elu Toldos parrots. It's also written, the word Toldos is written with two vavs. You don't have to write a vav. There's what's called Malay and Chaser. But often shall preaches a derech, breaking through, preaches alecha Peretz, breaking through, that we have broken through all of the veils of creation to reveal, as perfect as the creation is, to reveal the Creator. That's the Mashiach. Peretz is what talks about breaking through. Elu Tolot's Peretz, it says, and it's written also full. This is, word Peretz means to break through. Break through. Zeh Mashiach, this is the Mashiach. Shene'amar, like it says, Allah of Aporetz Lifneihem, that will break through, the one who breaks through for you. It's a sentence in, where is it? Micha. The Mashiach is called the one who breaks through. Yeah. Well, president. Okay. No. Am I a mistake? Did I make a mistake? Yeah, that's right. Micha. That's right. I said it right. Micha. That's what it means, that it'll be Shanat. It says niflot. Miracles means that God will break through all of the lies and appearances of the world to reveal, of the creation, to reveal the Creator in the creation. The reason why God is creating the world. And it'll be miracles, bakal, and everything. That's Tafshin Nun Beit, he said. And in our year, it's going to be Dalid, so we can say Dgulim, or maybe we'll figure something else out. Great miracles. Kolel, including Inyani Tova, the Shlemos of Sharos. Everything which is the good and the ultimate completion. Kamuvan, like it says, Shlosha Ta'imim. There's three people that God gave them the taste in this world, like the world to come. And who are they? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham, like it says, Bakal. God blessed Abraham Bakal. Yitzchak, it says, Mikal. It says, the Ochel Mikal. He ate from Yaakov, it says, Ki Kal. It says, Ki Yeshli Kal. He said to Esav, I have Hainu, namely, Shekal, the word call, more indicates Shalo Chasru Shum Tova, that there's no good that's lacking. That's Mashiach. He'll reveal all of the good that's hidden in the world. Whether the good that's concealed in the creation, the Ein Be'ikor, or mainly Shlemos Yatira, by means of our service that we reveal the Creator. Ad Shlemos the Siyam Gomer Avoda, until the final of the world becomes that, which will be the raising of the dead. That's the idea of what's drawn down by Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to every single Jew. That's Tafshin Nun Beit. Beit means Bina. And this year, maybe we can say it means Dat. Niflot Dat. De'eu, to know, to feel. Bina means to understand. Ubafrat, and especially B'sheichos Niflaot, the wonders of Bina, that's Nun Plot. Nun symbolizes the 50 gates of understanding. There's a book called the Sefer Yetzirah, 50 gates of understanding. Nun Palot, 50 types of wonders of Bina, more of understanding. This indicates on the revelation of the 50th gate of understanding. This is like on Mount Sinai, the Jews received the Torah 50 days after they left Egypt. And they had counted 49 days of the Omer. We've talked about that before. 49 days of the Omer. After that, they got the 50th gate, the 50th day they got for free. That's the 50th gate of understanding. But Siyam B'Gamar, when they finished the service of the 49 days that they counted, they got the 50th, they opened up the 50th gate. Same thing is Mashiach is going to be the end of all of the service that we've done. It'll be like we find by Moses, that he finished all of his service when he finished all of his service, next week's Torah portion. It says that I am 120 years old today. And that day Moses went up on Har Nevo. That's where he died. It says Har Nevo. Nobody knows what that is exactly. Nevo, it says Nun Shabo, Nun 50, which is in it. This is the 50th gate of understanding. That's Tufshin Nun Beit, 50th. So I want to add on that this year is called Tovshan Pei, which is miracles. Dalid, when you dot, which means it just won't be in the level of understanding, will actually connect to it. Be'ein aroch, and incomparable, the 50th gate of understanding will be incomparably felt and opened up to everyone. We can also add on that that's the whole idea of the completion of the redemption of is stressed on the year when it's Beit Gimel, like we said before. Like we said, Pat Baga Melech, right? That Nitzavim and Yelech are separate. Now, this year, this does not apply. Nitzavim and Yelech are revealed together because Rosh Hashanah does not come out on these Beit Gimel, right? And again, this whole thing of Pat Baga Melech is referring to a sentence right in the beginning of the book of Daniel, that it says that the king took Daniel and his friends, and he gave them the best bread, pat bag, the best bread of the king. So we're saying this is also, it says in the Midrash that Melech is referring to Rosh Hashanah, and Beit Gimel is referring to these days of the year, these days of the week. When Rosh Hashanah falls on Beit Gimel, which it doesn't this year, then pat, then it's separated. Pat means petit, to be crushed. Yelech, they're separated. Okay, when that occurs, like it did back then, and these blessings, of course, also stand now. Shegomer v'shleimus, that the completion of the service of God of Shabbos Tshuva will be in Parshas Vayelech. By us, it's not going to be that way. We're reading part. Okay, Shekolel, that includes also and mainly by us, the Shabbos Tshuva will be reading. Sorry, Ha'azinu. This is completing all of the service. Shekol, all the Jewish people will all come back to our holy land, to Jerusalem, to the holy city, to the holy temple, which Moshiach will build the holy temple, it says before, and that's what's going to draw all the Jews. And the Jews will Yelchu Michal al Chayil. They will go from level to level in fearing God and seeing God in Zion. B'lashon, like it says, Hakatuv, like it says, Parshas Vayelech, Bavo Kol Yisrael, all the Jewish people, it talks about Hakel, the mitzvah of Hakel, all the Jewish people, the men, the women, the children, will come to see the face of God. That he's talking about Parshas Vayelech. We read Parshas Vayelech, this Shabbat we'll read. So all these things apply to us also. Until the final, when it says Dvar Ashir Hazos, when it's talking about this song, the song of Ha'azinu that we're going to read, that's going to be the Shabbat after Rosh Hashanah. Shalom is also to the completion of the ultimate song. What type of a song? The song that's going to be sung by the Jews in the future. It's called the 10th song. Shira Asirit, the 10th song. Shiru LaHashem Shir Chadash. Sing to God a new song. All the other songs, like when the Jews went across the Yam Suf, it says the Shirah Hazot, feminine. Feminine means coming from below to above. And Shir Chadash is a masculine, Lashon Zachar, a song that's going to come from above to below. A song we never dreamed of. In the future redemption, which there's not going to be after it any exile. Okay, I think we can skip this a little bit here because it's talking about how the year is going to be. All right. Okay, let's just finish. Here we go. May it be God's will. It's talking about how the months are full and the months are not. That's in that year, but it's not relevant to this year. Okay. Yehiratzon, may it be God's will. Shebabo'enu, that we are coming now to the completion of this year when the Rebbe was in Erenoni float, and by us, it's the year of Plaot Giluim, revealed miracles, same thing. Tafshen Pei Gimel. Ubahachnasa, we're coming now into the year of Niflot Bo, and let's readjust that to our thing. Plaot Dgulim, or great, or Da'at, to know, to feel. Niflot Bakal, there's miracles in everything. Miracles of Bina, understanding. that it'll actually come to the gula, the true redemption, like it says, like the days of going out of Egypt, I will show you miracles. In the language of that is the Torah, Parshas Nitzavim, that we read forever. We always read right on the Shabbat before Rosh Hashanah. That's what we're reading now. What does it say in this week's Torah portion? It says, Shav Hashem Elokecha, that God will return with Shevutcha, your exiles. V'richamcha, that God will have mercy on you. V'shav Kibatzcha, and He will gather you together. Like it's expressed in the first letters, Niflot Bakal, Bakal, Mikal, Kal. Like we said, those are the letters of the revelation of the raising of the dead to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Bakal, Mikal, Kal. That Bakal, Mikal, Kal, this is the gematria of kabetz, to gather together. Oh, that God will gather together all of the Jews by means of the Moshiach. And you can say, how can this possibly be? And that's what I said before. You see, even the Reconstructionist Jews, communist Jews, Jews that are as far as you can get away, Zionist Jews. Now the Zionism has totally changed it's all the right. They're not faithful to this anti-God thesis that they had before. But they all insist that they're Jews. And Mashiach, all he has to do is just connect that inner identity to the rest of their personality. That's what Mashiach is going to do. All of the Jews suddenly will connect to this true identity that they're so jealous and proud of. Allah Ne'amar, it says in the prayer of Chana, Vayita, that's what we read on Rosh Hashanah, the first day of Rosh Hashanah of Chana, when it was born to her, the prophet Samuel, Shmuel. Vayiten oz l'malko, give power to the king. The Yoren Karen Mashiach, and he will elevate the glory of the Mashiach. In the language of prayer that we say in the end of the shofrot, when we write the one of the blessings that we say in the Musaf prayer of Rosh Hashanah, where we bring 10 sentences saying that God listens to a shofar. The last one we say that we finished the 3 blessings of Malchut, Zichronot, Shofar. We explained that before. It says, Taka b'shofar gadol, that God will sound the big shofar, lecherotenu, to free us. The sun nace, and to lift up a banner. And also nace means a miracle. Lekabetz, to gather all of the exiled people, all the exiled Jews. Asher la'achri avodas shel Yisrael, that after the service of the Jewish people, that we've prayed all of our prayers and we sounded the shofar, and especially in these 2 days of Rosh Hashanah. This year we only one day we don't sound the shofar on the first day because it's Shabbos. God keeps His promise. Vayomahu yitaka b'shofar gadol, like it says, on that day there will be sounded a great shofar. For lo rak b'lashon atid, not just in the future, but hoveh, it'll be sounded now until it'll be in the past. Shekavar hoyata takiyat shofar. We'll see that there always was the sound of the shofar gadol. The Rebbe said that the 6-day war was, if not the shofar gadol itself, but it was exactly a replica, an example of what shofar gadol will be. Right? I mean, I wasn't even religious then. I didn't even know that it even happened. I could care less that it happened. But I think I told you this before. In the 6-day war, I had an Uncle Irv. My Uncle Irv, I almost never spoke. He never talked to me. He was like a very not happy person. He was a nice person. My father said he was a genius and everything. He worked together with my father in a pharmacy. They had a pharmacy together. And he was just not, and he was totally just unmoved by almost anything, and especially by religion. Most ridiculous thing. When there was the 6-day war broke out, he emptied out all of his savings from his bank account, everything he had worked for, everything. He emptied the whole thing out and he gave it to Israel. I don't know how much it was back then, $50,000 or something like that, but that was a lot of money. Everything that he had saved up, he gave the whole thing. It was the shofar gadol. All of a sudden, Jews woke up. Amazing. the Gera Rebbe sent his Hasidim that they're usually sort of, secluded from the world. He sent them down to the wall, to the Kotel, to put the tefillin on people. The Rebbe had already begun a week, something like that, before the 6 Day War, this thing of going and putting on tefillin. So many people rushed down to the wall, and people that never put on tefillin in their lives, they put on for the first time. Such an arousal there was, and the Rebbe said something like that as the shofar gadol. Jewish identity became aroused. And immediately everyone will go to their homes in peace. The Beit Amiti, to the true house of the Jewish people, which the true house of the Jewish people is the Holy Temple, and the Gula Amiti Shlema, and the total redemption. The third redemption, right? The first redemption was from Egypt. The second one's from Babylon when we built the second temple. And the third will be in the future redemption. This is called the exile of Rome. We're now in the exile of Edom, Rome. So it's called 2,000 years. We'll have the Holy Temple itself, and all of the three holinesses which are in it, in the Holy of Holies, and in the Holy, and in the court, outer court, and especially in the Holy of Holies. And the main thing is what? That Kain Tiyalan, which should be actually to us, and even more, that it already is to us. We'll see that it's already passed. In 1 second, all of a sudden, here it is. And especially by means of the known saying by our rabbis, and about advertising. The arousal of the Mashiach will be in the newspapers. Kafish and Itkayim, like it will be in the last time of many, many newspapers in the world. In that time, the people were reporting. There was a famous advertisement by Rabbi Gutnick that he put the dots together. Mashiach is here, the Rebbe is the Mashiach. To add on that the King Mashiach is coming. What does it mean? The word ba means he is arriving. And it means that he is here, and it also means that he will arrive. Ba, he's arriving. It means he is here, and it means that he's already arrived. The poem Mamish, Lamata Misar Tafachim, in this physical world, and a revealed way, everyone will see Mashiach and take of him yad immediately now. Okay, that is this week's Dvar Malchut. Now let's go to